And I'm gonna tell you guys every single thing that we use to achieve a 7.8 in a quarter mile on our first pass with a car. This is not for show. This is not just for look. This is for the wow factor for you. This is for the people. People want to see fast cars. I stood back on the F80 and saw what people were doing, and I had the record still, 9.1, quickest F80 M3 in the world. I still have that record. Now I have the record too for G80 M3 and the fastest BMW in the world. And when I say that, it means there's no other BMW with a BMW drivetrain that has gone quicker than this. I think that I built the car to do this. It did exactly what was planned. But yeah, this is for you. This is for the people. And if you guys enjoy it, let me know. If you guys hate it, you can let me know too. Run up the comments either way. I appreciate that. And we got 2 Precision 6062 turbos. Each of these are rated for about 750 wheel horsepower. Intercooler is actually a Treadstone Performance air-to-air. TR, I think 1260. It's rated for like 1400 horsepower something. It's ordered from the guys over at Drift HQ. They have tons of stuff in stock. I ordered tons of stuff from them for all my drift cars and also intercoolers. You name it, they've probably got it in stock for car building stuff. I love them. They've been great to me. I just buy from them. We use Vibrant HD clamps everywhere. Over here, we actually have normal worm clamps, and those worm clamps are holding 60 plus pounds boost. Car probably runs 65 pounds boost in its current form. We would have gone with the full HD clamps everywhere, but I actually bought like cheap ones online that were not Vibrant, and they leaked, and then I didn't get the right O-rings to put the real Vibrant ones on over here. So we have cheap ones for right now. You guys see nitrous? Because it does run nitrous. Runs 100 shot wet, and that's controlled by MHD tunings, MHD Plus platform. That drives the boost control, the nitrous control, you name it. The MHD Plus paired with the motive reflex is the hands-on best way to tune these cars. It turns on when I'm on gas pretty much, and the nitrous turns off at 40 pounds of boost. It just uses a spool aid. I don't love anti-lag in a case where I can just use nitrous. Works really nice. It goes right to the charge pipe over here. If you guys think I'm gonna hide anything or keep any secrets, there's not a single secret that will be had during this video. Every single piece will be exposed. You can achieve the exact same results I can in theory by buying the same things. I say in theory because there's so many people with so many capable cars that can't figure out the little things. Hopefully this video will help one of you guys. This is a Wagner Performance intake manifold. It's actually used for a B58 BMW. We made it fit the S58. We actually welded this together so it can never fail. And then we had to grind down underneath there to clear the oil filter. This throttle body is actually from an A90 Supra. And people are going to say, oh my God, that's why it went fast, because there's an A90 part in the car. No, guys, it just bolts the intake manifold. I need to like re-drilling it and modifying it. So just bought a throttle body online and just extended the wires. Maybe I cut and crimp the other wires on. No coating required, nothing. So I actually think this could be, it's very similar to stock. You might be able to make the stock one work with modifying it. I didn't want to modify it. I like to keep every part I take off the car the side. I have every single thing that's came off this car relatively well organized if it were to go back to stock at some point in its life, or put the interior back in, drive it around. The only negative is you'll have to take the manifold off, do oil changes, but to have something that works this flawlessly, I'll take that. We have a intake manifold spacer on from that keeps heat out of the intake manifold. The original exhaust manifolds are pretty basic. The manifolds are still, this is not just the fastest G80 M3 in the world, it's actually the fastest BMW in the world. Some custom one-off manifold. I have Treadstone wastegate, motorized top to bottom. I'm gonna give you guys the main details right now. If you wanna see every little thing like ring gap, bearing clearance, you name it, that's all in a separate motor building video that I didn't wanna release until I knew it worked. I didn't wanna just say, hey, here's how to build a 1500 horsepower motor that will go sevens. No, I wanted to do it. And there was some things that I learned along the way. So you'll see that all separately, every little tiny detail. But from top to bottom on this motor, bought this motor on eBay. It was disassembled. I had to put it all together. It has Kelford C cams, Kelford valve springs, OEM valve. It has a fancy head gasket I had custom made. Maybe I'll add to the website if people want. It's like a fuel hoop. It's not a fire ring on one side. The head and the blocker are both machined so that you'd have to lift the head a millimeter, which is about 40 thousandths, 39 thousandths. Normal head warpage that's bad is 9 thousandths. We're talking about 39 before you potentially have a leak. It goes 39 thousandths into the head, the same into the block. It's practically indestructible. I will melt a piston before I blow a head gasket. ARP, custom made 625 head studs, holding it down for my guys at 5150. We actually didn't even deck the head or the block building this motor. As crazy as that might sound, we checked through the precision straight edge. It had about 1,000ths maximum of evenness. I wasn't that worried with it. It might sound crazy to build a motor, not deck it, but someone tell me why that's wrong, please. please get at me. Bottom end wise, we have CP pistons, arrow rods, all the specs in the gapping within the video. King rod bearings. I love King bearings, and 5150 supply us with coated main bearings because Kings didn't have them. And they're just, I think, an OEM bearing that they have coated in large batches. We clearance checked it all. It all came out perfect what they sent us. You should never put anything together blind. Everything should be clearance checked, inspected, measured before putting motors together. We do have Air P bolts that hold the front balancer on because they come loose on these cars. Those are from Titan Motorsports. Those are not from Titan Motorsports, actually, but they sell similar things if you want them. A lot of people do now. The one weird thing we done on this engine that I'm so happy to not release a video before was we actually don't, this is a dual Vanos engine from BMW. It's not anymore. There's actually now a single Vanos engine that only has working Vanos on the intake camshaft side. It might sound weird, might sound strange, but the reason behind that is there's two high pressure fuel pumps in there. Those high pressure fuel pumps are driven on the exhaust cam. So what happens is as you put aftermarket valve springs in a high pressure fuel pump demand, running ethanol, etc., your exhaust cam doesn't hit target. This is why cars only run E50, E60 stock turbo on E85. It's because the exhaust cam no longer hits target. Some high pressure fuel pump manufacturers on B58 cars tell you target 120 degrees, this, that. In our video, I give you guys exactly how to time a motor if you lock it the same exact way. We do have it locked. My camshaft center line is 110 degrees on the exhaust cam. It makes 1,350 horsepower like that. There's more behind the motor. But what you guys can see right now, these are Vargas wheels in the front and back. 17s in the front, 15s in the back. We got aerospace components, brakes. We have the drag lights in the rear, the standard street in the front, because previously they caught on fire when I had the drag lights in the front. So we went with these, feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm not sure if you guys should buy these anymore. I had some issues with them. I had leaks and then a fire. So I'm not sure if the average person should really buy these or go with a different brand small brake kit. I feel confident now after rebuilding them and inspecting them, I'll be safe. MH tires in the front, a pro bracket radial in the rear, 17 front, 15-inch rear, mirror deletes. I had a lot of people ask me how much of an effect do these little tiny things have. I don't have exact answers for you. All I know is if there's fast Evos out there, there's fast Hondas out there, faster than we're going, that have bumper covers like this, and they have no mirrors, I want bumper covers like that and no mirrors. Also, underneath this car, we have a full metal panel system underneath the whole entire car. Once again, what does that actually achieve? I don't have exact answers for you guys on ET difference, stability. All I can say is with this car, the way it's set up, with the SPL arms on it, right? We align this car with tape measures and toe plates, camber gauges, and I have an accurate caster gauge in the front. This car is dialed straight. You guys saw in my previous video probably where I went 780. It goes 100% straight. You can drive this car with one hand, and that's a lot of it because we removed all the rubber bushings from the front and rear of the suspension, and we went with all SPL arms. It's the best thing you ever do if you want stability in your drivetrain. It won't help with stability in your life, but it will do something for your drive. It will do something for the car at least. BC Racing coilovers. Well, I did a 127 60-foot. I can dial it better. I'm going to work on that with them, and maybe I'll change shocks or something like that. But sooner or later, you'll be able to call them and say, I want Jordan's drag shocks and springs, and they'll get you set up with a similar package. There's a lot of testing, though. I could probably spend 10 hours testing shock settings and spring settings on a car, probably more. So this is not optimal. It could get a lot better, but it's a hell of a start. We made like 6 passes in total, 5 passes in total. Some of it was just dialing in the launch. I did 1 full pass, and the car thought I was in an accident and went into safe mode. When we shut that off, we got the 780 pass, and it was really that easy. I've never made an 8-second pass in my life, but I've made a 7-second pass. Let's hop in the interior, guys. And like I said, there's nothing hidden. People are going to cry, you run nitrous, you run nitrous. A lot of people run nitrous. A lot of people do a lot of things. A lot of people lie. I don't. There's no metal cut on the doors at all. It's actually 100% intact. These are fake windows held up by this bolt. I have fancy RKTUNES pull strings to release them. Underneath my dash, there's still a heater core. Still a heater core, still AC components, but there's no AC on my car. That's the block off. If that wasn't there, if that wasn't showing, you'd know I removed the heater core. If I put a cage, there's a chance I'll remove the heater core to offset the weight balance. The rear windows are the same setup as the fronts. I have a Prisma seat. I don't know about you guys, but I personally saw this seat and practically fell in love. It is a super beautiful bucket seat. Look at the detail. I love it. So we got that seat. We got 6-point harness. I wear a Hans device when I race the car, which is actually on the floor over here. So what that guy is, for safety reasons, Nelson made this bracket to delete the factory armrest because that saved a few pounds. This is my nitrous arm. This is my nitrous trigger. I'm sorry. This is my nitrous purge. This is my fire suppression for when the car lights up the wrong way. If you were one of the haters that said that car's never going to work, the turbos stick out of the hood for absolutely no reason, you owe me a subscribe. You owe me a like. Get at it right now. It does also have up here and here, if you see, I still have factory airbags installed in the car everywhere. I have not removed any of the side curtain airbags. If I do cage, probably gonna remove all that, take a little bit more weight out of it. I could buy carbon doors, but I'm a little cheap. I have non-beadlock wheels. I have non-carbon doors. I don't have a stroker motor. I have a 3-liter motor. Selectively cheap in the right ways, and I know what it takes to go fast. And I know like the little things that are important and the things that maybe aren't as important. I know this looks like a bad angle for the seatbelt. Someone's gonna say it down low probably. It's within factory range of 20 degrees or less. My nitrous bottle, this is not even wired to anything. Just sitting there. Fire suppression. Interior sparkly seat. Dude, this seat's so nice. It is like FIA certified, and I just think that means it's made a little safer. In the trunk, guys. Also, car still closed the trunk. Still has some electronics in it, but wait, I don't want to do that really. That was not reopen. You guys can see back here, some modules. I don't know what you want to see. This is not cut. This is all factory. No metal's cut in the car. There's actually another hood I purchased. The car is an individual M3, which I mean, it means I'm dumb. And this paint was $5,000. So that's that. That's my little flex for you guys. So we bought a spare hood, had it painted. It's close-ish white. If it looks off and you see in person, don't remind me or do. I don't care. Custom catch can I almost forgot about. We made that. It's super baffled inside. It works really, really amazingly. I did test the car on fuels from E85 to 1-ethanol-R to C85 to methanol. And what we stood with was 1-ethanol-R. We might revisit the methanol blend in the future, but for right now, it's just 1-ethanol-R in the car. To get it to this level and fuel it, we had issues. We had limitations. I have 2 DW 810 fuel pumps in the tank. I had a full separate fuel system for the port injection. The OEM side is still stock, which is good for about 500 or 600 wheel horsepower. The secondary system is good for about 1,300 wheel horsepower to 1,400 wheel horsepower on the secondary side alone. So I'm nowhere near maxed out making, let's say, 1,350, 1,400 wheel horsepower, because it makes 1,350 horsepower. For everyone wondering power number wise, 1,350 in my small dyno room, sucking in bad air that you'll see in the dyno video where I talk about how I tune it, what's important, what's special. Fuel Tech 2600cc injector supplied from my guys at Induction Performance, along with the turbo, and a whole bunch of other stuff. The rail comes from Wagner. The fuel pressure regulator, the fuel filter, and the fuel lines and gas tank are radium. I stand behind the radium fuel lines in the gas tank, the PTFE stuff, super duper duper important. Things you can't see that are probably some of the most important parts of my car. As I mentioned before, MHD tuning. If it wasn't for MHD tuning support with the car, I'm not saying you can't make 1,500 horsepower without MHD. You can't go fast at MHD. People have been doing it for years. But what I will say is it is a hands down most advanced tuning platform for your BMW. If anyone tells you you must go with X, Y, and Z company instead because they did X, Y, and Z, there is no comparison. I've tuned on many platforms before. I offer tuning on many platforms, depending on what people want. But the integration along with the reflex is the best, hands down. The boost by gear, the auxiliary outputs driven by the ECU. The fuel model, the way it works on the fueling on this car, right, is instead of tuning a fuel injector table for secondaries and the fuel data for the first set, right, because this car has double injectors. As factory direct injectors are still there, 6 of them, and then these 6 massive injectors. On the MHD stuff, what it actually does is you put in all the data for the injectors, right, for the secondary set. And then it knows the exact fuel mass of the second set of injectors. And then from there, I would like to say it just worked. Do you still have to dial in a fuel scalar table? Look at it like a VE multiplier? Yes, you do. One table. To do all the fueling calculation on this car is one table, not one or the other. Then on top of that, there's one more if you want to change the split between port and direct injection. If you're running at a port injector, you want to drive more to the direct injector side, one table does that. At the end of the day, once you have that really set up and you know your limits, there's one fueling table to do. There's no going back and forth, reflash and reflex 1,000 times or like wondering if things work. This is always going to work flawlessly, or with the MHD, it will go into limp mode. I have luckily never experienced limp mode other than when we were testing things. It would throw us in limp mode because we're unplugging things. Another super important thing on this car is the Pure Drivetrain Solutions built transmission, stage 2, transfer case, and torque converter. We also have their flex plate. We will install that at some point. It's SFI certified. It's a safer product. I just went to them. I bought it from them. I put it in the car. I've done 300 dyno pulls, and if that sounds like a lot, you'll see my dyno video and you'll learn why I took 300 dyno pulls to make this car work correctly. I just bought their parts though for the transmission. I put it in and it worked out the box, no issues, no BS. Behind it, we do have a Vargas drive shaft in the car, and we have aftermarket differential bushings, no lockdown kit, nothing crazy. We do have Titan axles in the rear. I've seen people cut good 60 footers without those things, but for me, if I'm going to go to Maryland, I'm going to go to a different state, I will be going to FL2K, so you guys are going to see me at FL2K turning up. I just want to have the peace of mind of having these things so that they don't just break and fail on me. Also, some weight reduction things. Behind the bumper, there's no air conditioning, there's no auxiliary coolers. A lot of that's deleted to fit the 28-inch tall tires in front and rear. The weight of this car is 3,200 and change. It weighed 3,210 to 3,280 pounds, depending on taking it on off the scales, letting it sit, blah, blah, blah. And I think the top most important thing about making your car go 7 seconds or 8 seconds or 9 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever your goal might be, it's super important to choose a smart tuner you trust and you can rely on. Hopefully that guy will be me. If it's not me, it's okay. Enjoy my video anyway. Maybe buy a t-shirt or something. I appreciate that also. But the next most important thing is probably just building an overall good car. The little attention to detail on things, like I don't have fancy AN vacuum lines in my wastegate. I have normal silicone hose, but I have undersized, so it's really hard to push on, and it won't come off even with no zip tie. It's 60 pounds boost. I bet it won't come off, but I put zip ties too, right? That's this right here. So little details like that make the biggest difference in having a solid, reliable car. If I miss a single thing in this video, if there's anything you guys can think of that I left out, I promise I'm not hiding it. I promise if you comment down below, I will answer it. If there's any questions you guys have about anything else, build-wise, car-wise, comment down below. Let me know. Tuning parts at RKTUNES.com, merch at RKTUNES.us. Appreciate you guys. Gonna go faster. Gonna turn up more. Everyone worried about bead locks on your car, right? This car has no bead locks, but what I've learned is this car also is spinning tire a little bit. So here's the one mark and here's the other mark. That's about 1.5 inches of spin on a 127 60 foot. You do it 10 times, it will move more possibly. But the real thing is the power distribution on this car is extremely uneven. What does that mean? It means this car is an open differential. It's electronically controlled. This one, can you see the mark on this one? This one moved that much, way more. The diff is not a lock diff, it's not an LSD. A lot of drag cars have spools. We're probably going to lock this like we do in the drift cars or buy an LSD. I bet people would be better off buying LSDs for the cars than B-lock wheels because the power is not even even. I think that will help the car 60 foot better. It felt like a little wheel hop potential at certain points on the launch. I think that will also help dial it in better. You guys want to support the car and support what I'm doing, and you like this, you like me going fast, you need to really subscribe, maybe buy a t-shirt or something. I really, really appreciate that, guys. It means a lot. I'm gonna pull my car into the shop now.